Salutations everyone, this is Razor giving you guys another Overwatch 2 video here today talking about Sojourn. She is a character that I think a tiny bit slept on. You really don't see her at the lower levels nearly as much as you do the higher levels. Obviously we saw her quite a lot in Overwatch League at the end of probably the last season ever. Obviously, still a ton of Bastion with some huge dominating plays, but we saw a ton of Sojourn. And her kind of journey in history is a bit interesting because obviously when she came out, stupid broken, right? Like, I even posted a video where I went like 57-9 or something on Gibraltar. Just crazy how easily and quickly she can get those kills. One-shot headshots without a fully charged rail, and how fast it charged, and her... Disruptor round had the gravitational ability of Zarya's ult, and it did a ton of damage, and she's been reined in. I don't think she's overpowered anymore, even though she is one of the best DPS in the game, and I do think she is one of the best in the game. She's kind of re-emerged as one of the top picks because after first nerf didn't do a ton, second nerf, all right, that did some, and then a couple of nerf / buffs to some things when it came to like damage against shields, and then like the spread and damage per shot and things like that, to where I think her skill shot is still skillful. She doesn't do too much damage, but she's also just kind of good against everything. And not only that, she doesn't have a bad matchup against any tank or any sort of team comp that people are currently playing. And I feel like she is possibly, well, at least at the higher levels, she is the best character in the game being pocketed by a Mercy. That, forever and a day that's been Pharah, but the ability to get those one-shot headshots with a railgun that's not fully charged, that you don't really have to get it cranked up there, is ridiculous. And there's no damage fall off with the railgun. If you're up against a good Sojourn that has a Mercy pocket, it feels unwinnable. Those are some of the most difficult games to go against. Not that I know what that's like, because I never get a Mercy on my team. I just don't get that lucky. But Sojourn is the damage character I've been relying most on for this season. And, next season we're going to have a bunch of changes, stuff with Sombra and Roadhog's going to get their change. But the DPS role is a really... It's a really important one in their interactions with entire compositions, right? Like the tank's obviously the most important character because it sort of dictates what the entire team can do. Do they have a shield? Do they have movement? How tanky are they? What kind of space can they create? Yada, yada, yada. And the DPS, you kind of have to look at what interactions they have against those tanks. Are they diveable, easily diveable? What can they do against shields? What can they do against close range, long range DPS? Whereas like the supports just kind of like have to mold to whatever tank and or DPS that's good at the time, without necessarily having a big impact on the meta. It's like what they can do to enable the other characters. And Sojourn is a character that can get enabled quite a lot. And also due to the fact that I feel like she just doesn't have a bad matchup, because like Reinhardt, Sigma, right, our big shield guys, obviously Winston also has a shield, but she's going to be charging off of that shield. She's going to be doing cost damage against, say, Reinhardt, the disruptor shot against the Reinhardt going in the choke, trying to create some space for their team. That disruptor shot, she's going to be eating at their shield the entire time while you're blasting away. You're hitting every single shot, even with your somewhat big spread, because it's a big old shield. You can take care of a Sigma shield very, very quickly. So she doesn't struggle against shields. She doesn't like feast on them like she did before, because she charged so much better and faster and did more damage with the railgun. But it's still something that's like, before your entire team is ready to fight, you can poke at the shield, get yourself to a decent amount of charge, and then they drop the shield, or you find someone on a different angle trying to flank, or a support in the back that got out of position. You can get a quick pick on a railgun charge that you had ready to go by the time the full team engagement has started. And then you go up against dive tanks. She has the maneuverability with her power slide. She's really good against dive, because she's not a sitting duck like your soldiers or your Cassidys, and if she gets hacked, she's not as vulnerable as, you know, a Genji or a Tracer or a, you know, I don't know, a Junkrat is. She can deal with somebody who gets up close. When she gets hacked by the Sombra, she is obviously going to be close ranged against her, so you can do enough damage to somewhat charge your railgun and then get the shot. Maybe you get the kill. At the very least, you scare them enough to where they translocate away, and then you're able to, you know, get back to your team or your supports or what have you. So she's not an easy target to go after because she's decent close range. A flanker is going to have to really catch her by surprise or without any of her cooldown, stuff like that. The disruptor shot, you could shoot it at your legs when you see like the Genji coming. You don't have to worry about it being deflected at you, and if he wants to get close to you, he's going to be taking that damage, and maybe you've charged up a little bit of railgun to where you only need, you know, 50% to get that kill and stuff like that. Against the other DPS in the game, like Flyers, she's strong. One of the stronger ones, I would say, against a Pharah or an Echo flying in the sky. Echo's going to have to be a little bit closer to you to deal that damage, so the bloom of your primary fire isn't going to matter as much, and she's going to be like an easier headshot than a Pharah. A Pharah is a bit more of a threat because she can play up against you at closer, further away ranges, but the fact that, you know, a good Pharah is going to be pocketed by a Mercy. Sojourn is one of the better DPS at dealing with a Mercy because of the ability to just, you know, chip her down like a little bit, maybe like a third or a quarter of her health, and then maybe you get a railgun headshot where she'll Guardian Angel to somebody else, or maybe someone else did some damage to her and it's the final blow, or you get them weak enough to where someone else can just tap her with a single Cassidy shot or something like that. It's a lot easier to deal with than, like, say when you're Ashe, where you're like, man, you have to double headshot that Flying Angel to really do much against her. Sojourner is just a bit more consistent, I would say, until we get to the much, much longer ranges. And she doesn't have to worry about Widow or Ashe as much as other characters because she's not going to be a Soldier, a Cassidy, or even, you know, a Nayari, which is a great long-range DPS, because that's how a lot of people are playing her. She's just really strong and playing as a damage character. You pair her up with Moira and a tank that doesn't need sustainability like Wrecking Ball, boy, that's going to be a tough issue. But Sojourn can go on an off angle. She can slide away. She's not going to be as easily headshot by your Widows or your Ashes or, you know, I don't know, a Cassidy getting pocketed or something like that. Soldier is going to be a bigger problem when he is pocketed because he has that much tighter spread, but she's not going to be as vulnerable because of her mobility. She can go after, you know, the other support that's not being helped out by another character. She can help against the tank when they have shields, when they don't have shields. She's pretty good against Zarya. Obviously, you know, she's going to have those bubbles, which are going to be a pain, but at the very least you get charge off of those bubbles. So when the bubble is like going to, you know, it's going to about to expire, you could start ramping it up if she doesn't have a good charge already. So, you know, giving her 10, 20 charge is not going to be the end of the world if it gets your railgun up sooner, to where you can get a headshot on her without her bubbles. You get her below 50%. She's going to have to burn her other bubble and run away or get some support, and maybe your tank dives on her, gets the kill, your other DPS hits his headshot, something, she gets antied or something like that, hacked, I don't know. But she's pretty good against Zarya. She's not going to be that vulnerable. Up close, Zarya coming up with that big beam, power slide away, right? Winston jumping on her, power slide away. You know, he's going to be bubble dancing, which is fine because at the very least you're going to be getting some charge, but she's not going to be that that vulnerable. And boom, Mercy, quick, easy kills. Like, getting that kill on that Mercy with the headshot railgun, not at full charge, is way faster than double tapping her with a Cassidy, and obviously faster than Ashe because she's got the aim down sights and close range, slower fire rate than Cassidy, things like that, to where she can get quick kills, while also not being vulnerable. Where, like, you know, Widow, she can get a headshot pick, but, you know, she's going to be vulnerable. She won't be able to get in the front line, do anything against the tank. Whereas Sojourn, she can pop, get a nice, quick, easy kill, and still be in the fight. Then you go with your tank as they go in after the backline. Got our Doomfist here. They're in trouble. Get my Disruptor shot in. That's a ton of damage. Doom ults in. I get a quintuple kill. What can I say? And that's not even play of the game. I know Doomfist did the heavy lifting there, but I still got a quint, and that still wasn't play of the game. So I don't know how the algorithm works, but hey, at least I still get the play of the game. It just wasn't the quintuple kill. Go figure. Had it happen before, but whatevers. So going up against the other DPS, obviously Bastion, best character in the entire fucking game. He's god tier from bronze all the way to Overwatch League. He's just super strong, absolutely carries games. There's nothing you can do about him. He's absolutely insane. Sojourn, not bad against him. She doesn't have to, like, oh, peek the corner, hope he's not there, hope he doesn't hit his shot. She can power slide away if in a vulnerable spot, like, he was weak and then he gets nano boosted and you're like, oh shit, I can't kill him now. And the railgun finisher, he's got an easy headshot hitbox, or maybe you are behind him and he's in his turret form, he hit the little blue box of crit. And, you know, she's not, I would say, the best DPS at dealing with Bastion, but she's not a bad one. Like I said, she doesn't have a bad matchup against any tank or any DPS. Flankers, she doesn't have a problem with. You know, the long-range characters, she's not going to struggle against, and the close-range flankers aren't going to be an issue. She doesn't really care that much about being hacked, not as much as, like, you know, a Reaper or something like that. But say Reaper teleports right on her, power slide away, or you know they're coming. You know, he's going to be usually an easy headshot. He's blossoming or something like that. You can shut that down before it gets its max value. And she has a great ultimate. She really has a great ultimate. You can absolute pop off with that. And she doesn't need enabling is another thing. She doesn't need the Mercy damage boost. She doesn't need the Discord orb to get those kills done. She has enough firepower sustain on her own to get a pick, to get a quick kill, to get a job done, to deal with, you know, a Cassidy that's high nooning or a soldier that's visoring and isn't particularly looking at her. She's got, you know, a quick kill potential, can do something at medium and long range, and isn't vulnerable at close range either, because she can get away and also do some pretty good damage and finish up with a railgun shot. She's a great DPS right now. I think probably top 3 at most levels, probably like plat and above. You're going to see less of her, like the lower rank that you do go, but she is being slept on by some people, I think, a little too much. She's just very consistent. She's good on all kinds of maps. On Flashpoint here, I think she's great because her maneuverability. She doesn't like have any bad matchups with any team tanks. If it's an Orisa just holding the front line, then you're at an off angle that they have to worry about two tough sources of damage. Doomfist, Wrecking Ball, Winston going in. You can dive in and go with them. You can go off on a different path, or just, you know, try to take the duel against one of the DPS that you just feel like you have a good shot up against. And again, she's pretty good against Mercy, and that is a tall order. Mercy is kind of insane. She's the best support in the entire game when it comes to, you know, uncoordinated matchmaking, competitive teams. Insane. You know, getting free reses every 30 seconds. A lot of characters just can't kill her fast enough. Sojourn actually can. She can shut down flyers, flankers, compete against long-range threats, good against every tank, and good pairing with any tank. You don't have to really worry about her. You know, there are some things that she can struggle a bit against if she's not hitting those headshots or not getting value out of her ult when she does get it, because it is still going to require skill shots, or, you know, it can be easily countered with a big ultimate or a really good placement cooldown or shield. But I think Sojourn, definitely one of the best damage characters in the game right now.